watching the It's Her Time podcast with Cody and Jess. Welcome back to the It's Her Time podcast. My name is Cody Sanders, and I'm a holistic health practitioner and functional nutritionist and the host of this show. I'm so happy that you're here. Now, many of us know that have been through this, that the postpartum time is a roller coaster period for women's hormones. And that is an understatement, to say the least. You just grew a tiny human, which consumed a lot of your body's resources. And as you heal from delivery and begin nursing, the demands are even higher. Mix in the stress of adjusting to a new routine, having little time for yourself, and sleep deprivation, and you have a recipe for a postpartum hormone roller coaster. In this episode, we are going to dive into all the details you need to know to support hormonal health during this exciting yet challenging time. I'm going to cover the most asked questions, things like, does breastfeeding cause hormonal imbalance? How do hormones change postpartum? When do hormones return to normal? When do periods return postpartum? And what are postpartum hormone imbalance symptoms? What nutrients do breastfeeding mothers need, and how to balance hormones while you're breastfeeding? But before we get into all of that, let's join Jess for a Mixers Girls Say.
Today on our Mixers Girls Say, we actually wanted to bring you a little bit behind the scenes of who is running Mixers. It's more than just two of us. Thankfully. Thankfully. There's a few things we know how to do well. There's a lot of women behind Mixers that know how to do things, no offense, but much better than the two of us, which is awesome. And something that's so fun and so unique and so important to the two of us is that our Mixers team feels and functions like a healthy family.
It is.
And we've really been feeling lucky to create an environment and a culture here behind the business that is supportive of women in all stages and phases of life.
And we have women of all ages and stages of life that are on the Mixers team.
Yep.
It's so fun.
Yep. And so it's been so fun to lean into one another as more of a sisterhood. We support each other through our personal lives and our professional lives, rooting for one another in both, or supporting one another through the good and the bad within both. Something really fun and unique is that we are a team of 35 women, all women, and we have so many fun memories together.
Yes. And this summer is especially so fun.
We have 4 women that are expecting darling babies. We have a wedding. We have, what else is going on? Fun traveling that we're doing as a company.
Lots of fun traveling. We have girls that have their own personal goals. We have some girls that are going to be running in some races, training for events and things like that. Yeah, there's just a lot. These girls are just, as we all are as women, we're dynamic, right? And I love our phrase, woman is a verb, because I feel like our team at Mixers, is the perfect, example of women as a verb, because they are always in action doing a lot of really incredible things, making a big impact for good in this world, obviously as in the Mixers world. And so we're so grateful, but we love celebrating all of the wins and these life events. And I think that it's really fun that you girls have reached out to us wanting to know a little bit more. We get DMs from you wanting to know who it is. It's and we've featured sometimes, we've had some of our girls that are on our team come and be on these Mixers Girls Say segments and things like that. So you've had a little sneak peek to get to know them, but we are so proud of them. We've also been doing a thing that's been happening every 2 weeks throughout the summer called Women in the Mix. And it's a really fun opportunity for the girls that are on our team to share with the community, maybe people who are looking to start their own business or grow their own business or whatever, grow their social media, whatever, to come and learn from the girls that are doing it so well over on the Mixers team. So it's been fun.
It has been fun. And we'll feature more of our team because they're fantastic and everyone's personality is so fun. So know that behind your products or behind this podcast or behind the two of us, there's an army of incredible women working so hard to grow a brand that is changing lives.
That's right.
Now we'll get into the episode.
Mixers is a company made for women by women. Each of our products have been carefully and lovingly crafted to support you in all stages of your life, providing you with the optimal health you deserve. Each ingredient we handpick is 100% all natural, backed by science and chosen specifically to better your life physically, mentally, and hormonally. Each product empowers your body to take charge of its monthly hormonal shift and flows, empowering you to live life to the fullest. Let Mixers take care of your needs from sunup to sundown, and you take care of the rest. Check us out at mixers.com, MIXHERS.
Okay, so let's begin. Does breastfeeding cause hormonal imbalance? Now, while your hormone profile after pregnancy and while breastfeeding may be different from the rest of your childbearing years, the shift is actually normal. Breastfeeding is a natural state and requires certain hormones to adjust so that you can produce milk for your baby. It's not a defect that you need to correct. Most of the time, breastfeeding hormones do not require medical intervention. But as you're going to learn today, nutritional support is a really good move because you are most likely nutrient deficient. Symptoms like mood changes, night sweats, and breast tenderness are going to maybe pop up after you give birth until your body just settles in. Breast milk production is nutrient and energy intense. It requires a lot from your body, impacting the nutrients available for other things like hormones. In addition, postpartum hormone changes are dramatic, impacting how you feel. Supporting your body with a high-quality prenatal vitamin like Her Baby can really help. All right, many hormones are elevated to support the pregnancy, but rapidly fall after the baby is born. Other hormones rise after birth to promote bonding and to promote breastfeeding. These quick changes may lead to the baby blues, which are often associated with like a low mood or mood swings in the weeks after you deliver your baby. The baby blues, also called maternity blues or postnatal blues, affects between 13 and 76% of new moms, depending on culture, geography, and a lot of other factors. These emotional changes are typically temporary and resolve quickly. But if you find that these emotional changes are too much to handle, or if you're thinking of harming yourself or your baby, absolutely, please call your doctor immediately. Now, during postpartum time and breastfeeding, women are also very vulnerable to postpartum mood disorders, including postpartum depression. Postpartum mood disorders affect about 10 to 20% of postpartum women and have many root causes, including lack of sleep and hormone changes and so much more. So let's talk about the specific hormones while breastfeeding and how they contribute to symptoms or possible imbalances. So let's first talk about our sex hormones. Sex hormones, especially estrogen and progesterone, play a critical role during pregnancy, supporting physical changes, growth and development, placental health, and so much more. These hormones are essential for healthy menstrual cycles and pregnancy, but tend to stay low during breastfeeding. Now, during early breastfeeding and for some amount of time, you won't be menstruating and ovulating, which means that much less progesterone is going to be produced. Ovulation is required prior to progesterone production at pre-pregnancy levels. So let's talk a little bit more about estrogen and progesterone. During pregnancy, estrogen and progesterone are at an all-time high, but immediately after the baby and the placenta are delivered, levels rapidly drop to low levels, like those in menopause, which is a big shift. So some of the symptoms that you're going to notice if you have low estrogen are things like vaginal dryness, depression, fatigue, brain fog, hot flashes, and postpartum hair loss. Some symptoms that you might notice if you have low or no progesterone are going to be including like PMS symptoms, anxiety and sleep disruption, and estrogen dominance related symptoms. It's natural and necessary to have low estrogen and progesterone while nursing. Some women may experience more symptomatic effects than others and benefit from supporting these hormones. I'm going to talk about some other hormones too that are associated with nursing, like oxytocin and prolactin. Now, while estrogen and progesterone plummet, the breastfeeding hormones, oxytocin and prolactin, they rise. Now, during labor, oxytocin promotes uterine contractions, and contractions cause more release of oxytocin. And then after delivery, oxytocin levels remain high to promote that bonding and that caretaking that's necessary. Breastfeeding also induces oxytocin to release from the brain, which signals the breasts to release milk. Oxytocin levels remain high with baby suckling, and then they fall when you're not nursing. Higher oxytocin means higher prolactin and lower cortisol. Prolactin is the other essential hormone that's released during breastfeeding. It's produced by the placenta and is produced by the brain, remaining elevated after delivery. High prolactin, it suppresses the menstrual cycle by keeping estrogen and progesterone low, and then it stimulates your milk production. Now, we also want to consider thyroid hormones because of changes in the immune system that occur with pregnancy, along with the influence of estrogen and other hormones on thyroid health. Women are more vulnerable to thyroid imbalances during postpartum and breastfeeding. So T3, T4, and TSH and thyroid antibodies all should be tested. And I recommend testing them around weeks 6 to 12 postpartum for those with issues like Hashimoto's thyroiditis or Graves' disease or any other autoimmune disease, along with women using thyroid hormone replacement. Women with symptoms of thyroid imbalances should also be tested, even if outside of this early postpartum window. There's such thing as what's known as postpartum thyroiditis. Postpartum thyroiditis is a specific thyroid disorder occurring in the postpartum period. It primarily resembles hyperthyroidism or overactive thyroid, followed by symptoms of hypothyroidism or underactive thyroid. Some women will only experience hypothyroid symptoms, though. Postpartum thyroiditis is challenging to distinguish from other thyroid conditions, hormone imbalances, and symptoms that new mothers experience regularly, like sleep deprivation and stress. It can occur up to 1 year after you deliver, which is a time when many women aren't regularly seeing their healthcare provider like they were during pregnancy. So just keep that on your radar. Let's also talk about your adrenal hormones. Now, adrenal health is another area greatly affected by the postpartum period. Low sleep, new routines, the nutrition demands of breastfeeding, going back to work, lack of community to help with the baby, and other life factors can increase stress for new moms. And more stress means more cortisol. Now, you girls know that cortisol is one of the main adrenal hormones. It has a natural rhythm where it's high in the morning and then it drops at night to promote sleep. Cortisol also spikes in response to acute stress, and chronic stress can lead to HPA axis dysfunction. Clinically, I've seen this a lot in postpartum women. A literature review looked at cortisol levels in postpartum women, finding that high cortisol is associated with temporary depression, while low cortisol levels correlate with chronic postpartum depression. So if you're experiencing sadness or mood changes, let your doctor know so that depression or existing or emerging can be addressed. There's also the hormones insulin, and we need to talk about blood sugar balance as well. Insulin is another postpartum hormone to watch. Insulin plays a primary role in blood sugar regulation by helping move glucose from the blood into the cells for energy. Now, during breastfeeding, women become temporarily insulin resistant, which supports high-calorie breast milk. This is because low estrogen contributes to insulin resistance. Now, insulin resistance may be an issue for some women during breastfeeding in terms of weight and metabolic health, especially if the new mama is eating a standard American diet of processed food. And those that have with diabetes or who have had gestational diabetes need to also be aware of this. So when do hormones return to normal? I know this is a question that I get a lot. When is it normal for your period to return? Now, for some women will get their period back in the first few months, and others won't have a period for as long as they are breastfeeding. Now, most women will fall somewhere in between, which is totally normal. Often, the menstrual cycle returns when there is a reduction in nursing. So less suckling means prolactin is going to reduce, which allows estrogen levels to rise, and it helps to kickstart ovulation. Examples include things like night weaning, or if you're adjusting feedings to return to work. And what happens to your hormones when you stop breastfeeding is that if your cycle doesn't return while nursing, when you stop breastfeeding, you can expect that your sex hormones, you're going to see that they rise, and your period is going to return soon. It often, though, takes a few cycles for hormones to regulate to pre-pregnancy levels. Now, let's talk about some postpartum hormone imbalance symptoms. Some symptoms, like the baby blues, like we talked about, are a normal response to the rapid and profound hormone changes you experience after having a baby. If symptoms are severe and they're persistent and impact your daily life, please speak with your doctor. Even mild symptoms that are concerning are worth a conversation with your doctor. So let's talk about what are some of these hormone imbalance symptoms to watch for after you've delivered your baby. So things like anxiety and depression, or anger and irritability, insomnia, fatigue, loss of interest in your favorite things, decreased ability to take care of your baby. Maybe you've experienced rapid weight loss or rapid weight gain, PMS type symptoms, and vaginal dryness. Now, some doctors will recommend the birth control pill to manage postpartum symptoms, but there are also other options. And I want to remind you that birth control never addresses the root causes of hormone imbalance. So let's get into what nutrients we need. What do breastfeeding mothers need especially? So a foundation for hormone balance while breastfeeding is solid nutrition. Eating a nutrient-dense diet and appropriate supplementation helps ensure you have the nutrition you need for balanced hormones and for breast milk production. So the first nutrient that I want to make sure that you girls are getting are your omega-3s, okay? Getting omega-3 fats in the diet is essential for pregnancy and for lactation. And it also promotes neurodevelopment in the baby, and it also helps to prevent postpartum depression for the mother. So what I recommend is that you try getting 3 servings of low mercury fish like wild salmon or mackerel and sardines every single week. In addition, you should still also be taking an omega-3 supplement while you are breastfeeding. The other nutrient that you want to be really aware of is iron, because iron is a critical nutrient during pregnancy to support blood volume expansion and fetal growth and development. Many women don't get enough iron during pregnancy. Then, because of blood loss during delivery, breastfeeding mothers are at risk of iron deficiency anemia as well. So I would say continue to eat iron-rich foods, and those iron-rich foods could include things like grass-fed beef, shellfish, legumes, and leafy greens. I would say also to continue taking your Her Baby prenatal vitamin to replenish iron levels during the postpartum period. An interesting side note is that not much iron actually passes through your breast milk, so this nutrient is actually mostly for you. The other key nutrient is vitamin D3. Now, vitamin D is another nutrient to have your eye on while breastfeeding. You need to be getting enough for your own needs and then to pass through the breast milk to your baby while exclusively breastfeeding. Although you can supplement your infant directly as well, I recommend getting your vitamin D levels tested after delivery to determine your recommended vitamin D daily dose. Every woman will be a little different. Now, when it comes to this, Her Baby does provide 125% of the daily recommended dose for the average woman, but you may need more depending on how deficient you are. So get that checked. Let's talk now about how to balance hormones while you are breastfeeding. Let's talk about some of the ways that we can promote postpartum hormone balance, including things like exercise, blood sugar balance, and supplements. So let's first start with exercise. So once you are cleared for exercise, that usually comes around that 6 or 8 week postnatal checkup. You can start to begin moderate exercise for its positive effects on your mood, your hormones, your metabolism, and more. But be careful not to push exercise too much, especially if your sleep is poor, because it may add more stress and it may increase your cortisol, and it can contribute to hormone imbalances instead of helping balance them. Remember, we want to work with our hormones and not against them. The other thing we want to really focus on is a nutrient-dense diet. Now, I've talked about the importance of a nutrient-dense diet to meet the high demands of breastfeeding, but also be sure to eat enough overall food in a way that balances your blood sugar. Balancing blood sugar will help to support healthy hormone levels. Balance hormones by including your protein, your healthy fats, and fiber-rich carbs at each meal. Snack is needed, and believe me, you'll need to snack as much as possible with nutrient-dense options like colorful fruits and veggies and other whole foods. These are the best options. Prenatal and postnatal supplements are also very important. Now, just because pregnancy is over, that doesn't mean it's time to stop your prenatal supplements. In fact, your prenatal vitamin and other supplements are just as crucial after pregnancy as they were before. Now, I recommend continuing with Her Baby for at least 4 months after delivery. But if you are nursing for longer than that, I still think it's a great idea to use Her Baby as a postnatal for as long as you are nursing. Now, to sum everything up today that we've talked about, if you are looking for answers about how to balance your hormones while breastfeeding, get back to the basics. That's the best advice I can give you. Prioritize things like nourishing food and gentle movement, sleep as you are able, obviously, and foundational supplements like Her Baby are going to be key to support your own health and the health of your newborn. And most of all, I want you girls to remember to just be gentle with yourself while you enjoy the journey of motherhood. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's such an exciting time of life. You new mamas deserve to be taken care of so that you can feel your best. And if you are currently pregnant or if you just had a baby, I hope this information has been helpful for you. If you know of a girl in your life who could also benefit from learning about what we've talked about today, please share this episode with her because sharing is caring. Now, as always, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We have the best community here, and I always look forward every single week to continue these conversations with you. Until next week, I hope you stay healthy and stay happy, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.